everybody, I am at Haslemere Motorcycles down in Whitehill once again, and today I'm going to be riding the 2021 Hayabusa. I have ridden the old one, and I was very keen to get to ride this one just to see what it's like. And I'm in quite a lucky opportunity here, because basically the situation is this. There is a few of these going around the country from dealership to dealership. They have them for a few days. If you happen to get your dealer at the right time and you're lucky, you might get a test ride on one if you're looking to buy one. Otherwise, they're just going to be there to look at. So getting this opportunity to ride this bike this early on is 100% thanks to Haslemere Motorcycles. So a big thank you to them for allowing me to do this, but also to allow me to make a video to bring it to you. This is going to be a first ride. I'm not going to do a full-on review. I just want to get out there and just ride it and see what it's like. Right, so we have traction control from 10 down to off. So let's just put that in 1. There we go. Okay, well, we'll start with the basics. I am 6'4", okay, so I'm pretty tall, and at my height, I can't actually see the top of the Speedo because I'm looking through the dash, the windscreen. I can see the bottom edge of it, but not the top edge. If I come back here, I kind of can. You know, it goes without saying that the Hayabusa is a quick bike. You know, it's nearly 190 brake horsepower, 150 newton meters of torque. It's a quick bike, no question. And I can't really do much to test that on the, the national highway compared to what people have been able to do on track days. So my approach to my first ride is going to be different. It's going to be a little bit more realistic. What is this like to ride on normal country roads and stuff? I'm going to go onto the motorway and I'm going to go through some country roads, and I might even try and find a bit of traffic. But mainly I just want to try it out. Okay, so first off, obvious stuff, seating position. As I mentioned, at my height, I'm kind of looking through the windscreen rather than seeing the clocks. That is what it is. And if I sit further back, I'm almost Supermaning. The more comfortable places there, but it does mean that I can kind of just see a bit more of the clocks. It isn't sort of too much weight on my wrists. I'm not that far over. Like I can come off. I'm holding myself here. It's not that uncomfortable. My legs are quite high up, but it's not quite as uncomfortable, or should we say quite as cramped as, say, like an S1000RR, where you really feel like your arms and knees are right up here. Clutch is very light. Gearbox very smooth. Suzuki's gearbox is, well, especially with the ones I've tried in recent years, just seems to be so good. Like the click through, it feels like a switch. Hey. I am testing comfort, I suppose, and it's not too bad. It's not overly firm. It hasn't got that sports bike solidness to it. It feels much more supple. Wow, it can pull itself up a hill, who would have guessed? Throttle response is very nice, not jerky at all, very sensitive from the bottom. It's not got that like jerk that some of the older Suzukis did have at one point, I noticed, and lots of bikes get. The sort of the initial take up is quite but this is beautiful. I love this. Nice little road. I also got very lucky with the weather today. It's like 15 degrees. Which will be interesting to see, because that's the other thing I'll say about the old Hayabusa that I rode. It was hot. Now, it was a very hot day that I was out, but it was very hot to ride. Let's see how this thing goes. So far, I feel no heat within my loins. Now, I've mentioned how the dash is a little tricky for me to see, but what I will say is when I do look at it, I don't want to throw up. I absolutely hate the old Hayabusa dash, okay? It looked like the Olympic rings. There were so many dials there. I'm sure if you used it for a while, you'd get used to it. I just did not like it at all. These stock exhausts are very quiet. Very, very quiet. I mean, they are big. I mean, that's the thing. Getting the Hayabusa through the Euro 5 is pretty incredible. The fact that they haven't actually done it. Well, they have, I think it's like 500 individual changes between the old one and the new one, but you know, the engine is quite similar. They looked at doing superchargers and all sorts of stuff, but just found that this worked better, and they got it through its Euro 5, and that's all that matters. I do feel like Hayabusas are made for Hayabusa customers, you know what I mean? I feel like there is definitely a certain sect of people that are interested in Hayabusas and ones that are not. You know, there is definitely some Hayabusa loyalty out there. And I mean, after all, it's a Busa, bro. It's a Busa on a road covered in gravel. There's only a handful of them in the country, and Suzuki will definitely not be happy if I prang this one. I can hear something buzzing. I think I might have a bee or something stuck in the visor of my helmet, because I can hear this. Is that a GT40? It is. Possibly a repro, possibly a real one, who knows? It's making me smile. This is actually a very pleasant bike to ride. I am starting to feel a little bit of weight on my wrist from how much I'm having to lean over. My back's not hurting yet, and I have a very bad back, so if anyone's going to get back problems with things, it tends to be me. It's true effortless riding, you would say. You know, you want more speed, you get more speed. You want brakes, you use the brake. You don't have to throw yourself around to get it around a corner too much. It's pretty nice. It doesn't feel like a Hayabusa or how you imagine one would feel. It does in some ways, but not in all. Oh man, that's one dead bee. Ew, what's that? Oh, I don't even know, that was mangled. I want to test these brakes out in a minute. One finger. I wish I had brakes like that on my bikes. I really do. They make a, well, as you can see, this is the silver and red one. They make a white and blue one and a black and orange. I love the look of the black and orange one. And you may have noticed I've only just got on to talking about looks. I actually do like the look of this. It's a Hayabusa, okay? It's going to always look a bit like a Hayabusa. And it could have looked more like the first or like the second gen, which were not great. I think this looks much better than those. It's still definitely a Hayabusa, no question. But it's not, it looks more sort of together. The black and orange one particularly, I think, looks very like futuristic chic. If that's even a thing. But it's like what chic would be in, you know, a long time in a big tower block in some corporate city. Yes, I'm thinking of Cyberpunk here, but the corpos. I know most of the people watching this won't have played Cyberpunk, but like corpo futuristic chic. Let's have a little listen. Yeah, that is incredibly, like, just quiet. But it's got a nice tone to it. But it's not very loud. The seat's alright actually, it is firm, but it's got enough squidge in it that it's not causing my butt to feel sore or anything like that. It's wide enough, it's big enough, you know, there's plenty of space on it as well. I have to say, although I can feel a little bit of warmth in my legs, this is nothing like the old one for how hot it got. I mean, maybe it was quite a bit hot today the first time I tried, you know, the first boost, but this just doesn't feel like it's dumping all its heat into me like the other one does. I mean, my legs actually feel cool against the tank still. I can feel a bit of warmth on my shins, but it's not too bad at all. So the overall feel and control of it and everything is just much nicer to use. Feels like less inputs required. Throttle and all that's a lot smoother. Just very pleasant. It just feels like so much bike though. It just feels like so much more than you'd possibly need. Now I'm just trying to find somewhere nice to get some pictures of this bike. Somewhere nice that's still in the sun, because that quite clearly is not in the sun. Okay, well now's an opportunity to do a test turn in the road. Yeah, it's not the easiest bike. You really have to get your hands right into the tank. Hey, back to the sunshine. I wasn't going to continue going that way just because the sun was not there. What's it like to tuck on a course? Because that's what you're supposed to be doing. Well, yeah, that's quite funny. My camera might be under the screen, but my face is directly in the wind. I don't know if I'm back here, but then I can't see because my neck doesn't bend that far from me. But if my neck attached to the back of my head rather than the bottom of it, I could look forward. But I certainly cannot look through this screen. Physically and possibly cannot look through this screen. If I go right back. Yeah, still can't see. The electronic package on this is a little bit like they took some features from the DL, some features from the GSX-R 1000, and then kind of blended it together and tuned it for this, because they've got some extra settings and stuff. And as I say, I'm not going to go into all those settings in this video because there are videos that will have covered that already, and this is a first ride. This is about just feel and comfort and how does it make me feel, and yeah, it's interesting. It doesn't actually feel like it's goading me to go faster and faster and faster because it's quite sort of placid in its tone of exhaust. It feels like I could just, you know, sit out and cruise on this. But that's the thing I find with Hayabusa is you're always cruising. Sure, you're doing 110 mile an hour, you're still cruising because it's not trying. And for me, that's why I prefer a smaller engine that I can get more out of each gear and use it a bit more. After a while, you feel like you're in that problem with space rockets, where to make it bigger, you got to make it more powerful. But to make it more powerful, you got to make it bigger. And then to make it bigger, you got to make it more powerful. And then it just gets... it just becomes monstrously gigantic. Now this isn't monstrously gigantic, it's quite big, but I wouldn't call it monstrous. It's very sporty feeling for a sports tourer. I have a Yamaha XJ6. Okay, I'm not making some comparisons between these bikes other than seating position, and the seating position on that is far more tourer than it is sports. This feels like it's very much sports, not so much tourer. I just stopped for 20 minutes just to have a little bit of a break and also to get some pictures and some video of this bike. As you can see, it is a big bike. I mean, look, I can't quite get my hands end to end. And it's quite wide in the middle, you know, sort of this sort of size. But it doesn't feel that big at all, really. Very low. I mean, literally, the seat height is mid thigh for me. Lower third. Big old intakes on the front. I mean, looks-wise of this bike, as I say, it's a Hayabusa, and it always seems to fit into that Marmitey place. I think this looks like, I would have said this is the best looking Hayabusa they've made. I think the front end could have been cleaned up a little bit maybe, but overall it's actually pretty okay. I do prefer the black and orange one. Out of the three, the silver and red to me just doesn't really go. I mean, silver and red obviously goes because silver in any colour goes, but it just seems to clash a little bit compared to the white and blue or the black and orange. It seems like an odd choice. I actually really like the silver colour itself. It's just maybe a different tone of red, because it's quite candy-like. So they've still got rings for the dash like the old one, but it's in line, and they've got rid of the middle one and replaced it with a very small TFT. I assume it's TFT. 18 degrees, that's more like it. Here we go again. Spicy takes a Hayabusa onto a narrow country road covered in gravel, because that's exactly where they intended to use it, right? I just don't want to find a truck doing 40 coming the other way. Sorry if this camera looks slightly different. My 1X2 died because I've only got one battery for it. So I'm reverting back to my old 1X for now. It's better than nothing. Better than nothing. God, there's a big hole there. What is this? Squished pheasant. Squescent. Smelly squescent too. Ew. I'm not far from Haslemere Motorcycles now, so I'll be back there relatively soon. So let's start talking about conclusions. Basically, it feels much nicer than the old Hayabusa. I'm, just in comfort, I think. Throttle response, just pretty much everything feels more refined. It's a very refined, nice feeling bike. That is one thing. Even the, like the levers and everything are very nice. I don't think these are the billet ones, which cost like 260 quid each extra. They are still very nice. It just rolls from corner to corner. And it's just very little effort. As I say, you're not even really changing gear, touching the clutch or anything like that, because it's just got so much power and the gears seem so long that you just put it in second, third, and you're absolutely fine. I mean, yeah, I've been in third most of the time. Third gear on this is... Well, I think you could probably pull away in third and you could lose your license in third. Put it that way. Should we try and pull away in third? Yeah, let's try and do that, actually. Third gear, okay? Third gear. I mean, I know some bikes have no problem pulling away in second, but... Third? Okay, so you can pull away in third. You can comfortably do 30 miles an hour in third. And it's doing just over 2,000 RPM. How can it pull away in third, sit at 30 in third, and feel absolutely fine? Like, my DRZ 400 SM hates doing 30. It's between first and second. This third. And we're coming up to the motorway, so let's see how far third gear can take us. Okay, within reason. Okay, so still in third gear. We're going to be joining the motorway. 50 at 4,000 RPM. '70 is around 5,000 RPM. 5,500 actually. And we've got something going on up here. Wow, what was that all about? Okay, there's a tractor and everyone's deciding to overtake it like they hadn't seen it for the past 400 yards. They choose to overtake it while they're directly behind it, which means they have to slow down massively. This is still in third, and it's only at 6,000 RPM, and I'm doing a little over 70 in third. It's still got, it's still got so much to go. Okay, so let's try it in sixth. Okay, so this is going to be some funny numbers. Okay, sixth gear, 70 miles an hour is 3,500 RPM. 3.5. And I'm imagining, because it is a Hayabusa, that it's still going to have loads of power. I'm not going to clutch it or nothing. I'm just going to roll the throttle on. Yes! It's certainly got a lot of power. Honestly, at no point during this ride do I feel like I've been able to actually, you know, fully open this up, because there's always been a car or a corner or a place. It really has. Even though I've ridden more powerful bikes, it's because it's so relentless. It's not like it's what, and then, you know, you've gained some speed, but you need to change up to get another boost in the speed. It's just so with the speed. Oh, it loves a blip shift. It loves a blip shift. Woo! The ride and the comfort of it is actually very nice. It takes out the bumps of the big bumps of the road. It doesn't feel jarring, yet it does feel firm enough for the corners that it's not wallowing and anything like that. I feel like you can tell they've spent a long time refining every part of this to make it an improvement over the old one. Obviously, I've only ridden the old one once, and it was a long time ago, but this, to me, like my feeling coming off that bike compared to my feeling coming off of this bike, I much prefer this one. It just feels better, more usable. I'm back at Haslemere Motorcycles. As I say, that was a very interesting ride. I tried to do something that most people haven't done with this bike, which is take it through silly country roads and stuff to see what it's like there. Comparing it to the old Hayabusa, I do think that this looks better, feels better, rides better. I mean, the build quality of it's very nice. Even the stock levers, you know, and stuff like that, they feel a little bit more improved from the standard Suzuki stock levers. It very much is a Hayabusa, and it's very good at it, and it's as a bike which is just ultimately capable in speed and, you know, and stuff. But the fact that you can ride this thing in one gear, you can pull away in third and you can lose your license in third. What more do you need to know? A huge thanks, as I say, to Haslemere Motorcycles, because they have only got this for a couple of days, and they basically offered it to me for half of one of those days, which I'm very, very grateful for, because I feel like I've had a very early opportunity to try something out. It will still be a little while before these bikes are in showrooms as demos, and will be a little while before people are getting their bikes. If you get the opportunity to ride one and you're a fan of the Hayabusa, I think you'll find that you're going to bloody love it. Please remember to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to help support my channel, consider joining my Patreon. Otherwise, I will catch you in the next one, whatever one that may be. And I've left the parking light on that Hayabusa, so I need to go and get the key again and turn it off. It's got a parking light, by the way.